Unlike the famous Jack Black quote, a cello is not a bass guitar. Actually, a cello has a far more unique sound. It can play romantic and fast and even really high and really low. You can also get really cool sound effects, kind of like lightsabers. If I had an electric cello, I could do even more. And you can even play cellos underwater. They make them out of carbon fiber, too. Can you imagine trying to play an electric bass underwater? That would not work. The cello is a really complex instrument, and you have to learn all the parts in order to play it correctly. This whole piece in the front here is called the bridge, and it is not glued on to the instrument. It's only held on by the weight of the strings. One wrong tap and it would go flying off. And it's pushing all this weight onto this curved top of the cello. This curved top is only supported by the ribs on the side, which are glued on, and this tiny wooden dowel inside called the sound post. Sometimes you might hear the sound post rattling around because it's fallen. The only way to fix it is through a really narrow tool that goes straight down through these holes in the front, which are called the F-holes. I know, why are they an F shape? Well, if it was a C or a circle, they tried it, but it didn't make as much sound. The F actually makes a louder sound. So because of the shape, they call it an F-hole. The instrument's so complex that someone's job is to make violin, viola, cello, basses, and a double bass, and guitars. That's a luthier. They only go through 2 years of training, but there's no way I'm gonna let someone with 2 years of training work on my $5,000 cello. They better get a lot more experience first. Also the bow. The bow must be made from Pernambuco wood from Brazil. Otherwise it's no good. And you must use white horse for the hair. Never dye the hair. It must be a white horse. And it has to grow up in a cold climate so that the hair is really strong. The bow is what gives the cello its characteristic sound. That was the bass. Can you imagine that song plucked like that? The bass can't even remember where its notes are without frets. Lines all the way down the fingerboard to tell it where its notes are. And then they couldn't make cool sounds like this. Actually, speaking of notes, the cello has different notes than the bass guitar. The cello, the notes are 5 apart, C, D, E, F, G. But the bass, the notes are only 4 apart, E, F, G, A. Oh, that's good, because the bass notes are closer to each other. Wrong. What if you're playing a song where the notes are really far apart? On the cello, that only takes 2 strings. On the bass, that would take 3 strings. You have to skip a whole string to get all those notes. So annoying. So why do people confuse the two instruments? Well, they both play really boring parts. You just proved my next point. Cellos do rock. It was also proven in Netflix movie Metal Lords, where they didn't get a bassist for their band, they used a cello. There's actually entire rock bands made out of cellos. Apocalyptica is 6 cellos. There's a band who rocks called 2 cellos. There's even a folk rock group called Rasputina that has a couple cellos. And back in 2012, there was a one-time only performance of a group at Pacific Lutheran University named We Found Nemo, and they had a pretty cool cellist in it. So, in summary, cellos rock. Cellos are romantic. Cellos are sexy. Cellos can play long sounds, and they have different notes. Therefore, a cello is not a bass.